Hi guys, in this video we're going to learn how to generate code coverage for Django CMS open source project using manual testing of application in the browser. So Django CMS environment has already been set up. So the first step would be to go ahead and instrument the project. So once we set up the virtual environment, so this is a virtual environment what we have set up. Under the libs side packages, here we should be able to see Django CMS, the source code here. So we are going to instrument this folder. So let me go back to this root folder here. And so in order to instrument the project, we need to use the command rktracer on, that is to turn on the tool and give the path of that folder where we need to instrument the source files. And we need to also say like py means like we are going to instrument the Python source files, and -v means for high verbosity. So once we are given all the required parameters here in the command line, so next step would be to go ahead and execute this command. As you can see, some of the files has been ignored. That is a init file, initialize file. So basically this file doesn't have much of information. So what we have done is we have used rktracer configuration file and we have ignored these files from the instrumentation. So based on the system environment and the resources that we have, it's going to take a couple of seconds. Since it's Windows, so it's pretty much slow compared to the Linux machine. In Linux machine, it won't take more than 5 to 6 seconds. So in total, it has taken 193 seconds to process this 841 source files, out of which many of them has been ignored from the instrumentation, which has been highlighted in the yellow color. The files which has been instrumented are highlighted in this green color that you see on the screen. So once the instrumentation is complete, let's go ahead and execute the launch the application in the browser and start testing. So this is where we have that. So let me go here and do demo and execute the command. Python manage run server. So the moment I execute this, so the application is as you can see, there is no rk coverage file here. So let me go ahead and copy this and go to the browser and paste it. Now I can see that as I pasted, the code is some request has been sent, and the log you can see over here. And let's say like I'm going to give some options, and we are logged in. Now the next step would be to create some use case here. So let me go ahead and see this. Okay, and I'll just give some demo here, and I'll say like I won't add any information. This is to test. So we are not going to go in detail about this. And then what we are going to do is either we can send a signal to collect the code coverage data, or what we can do is we can do this Control-C, kill the application. If you want to run it in infinite loop, then you can send a signal and generate the code coverage. So if you go ahead and kill the application, then you can see that this coverage rk coverage file has been generated here. This is the code coverage data. So the next step would be to copy to this folder where we have this parallel to this rktracer folder. This is where we have the information about the instrumented files and the pre-processed information. Then the next step would be to go ahead and generate the report. So let me go back, and all I need to do is run the command rk results. So you can see that it's update and reading the data from rkcoverage.txt file. So once it has read the data, it will start generating the report, and it has read this many files in almost like 12 seconds, and it's reading the intermediate files to capture the source code view and to generate the HTML reports. So it has taken around like 32 seconds. So depending on the source files, since it's Windows, it has taken quite long time because there are lots of processes that is running in the background. So this is the code coverage report that has generated. So if you want to get into the details, you can go to the ArchiTracer folder and you should be able to find this here. Either we can automatically, the report will get opened in this browser, or you can just go and double click on this index file, then you should be able to see the reports here. At the high level, on the left hand side we have a tree view, and you can see that there are no traces of init files here, so we have excluded that files. And the one that you see on the left hand side are the tree view with a project structure. For example, let's say like I will go and SIG signal. If you want to search some files, you can just go and search it over here and it will get displayed here. For example, if you want to get the details of this, just click on that and you should be able to see like how the code has been covered here. Okay, and for example, if I select this and there is a test, we didn't run the test cases, so that's the reason you see that it's having a zero code coverage here. So let me go and go back, and if I select this, and you should be able to see like what is the code coverage we are getting here. And for example, if you go for this admin file, it has been not executed. If you go for global settings, you can see that most of the code has been executed here. And for example, if I go to the one of the file here, signals, let me select a very good one. So for example, let's say like I want to see the number of function code coverage summary. So all I need to do is just right click on this and it's going to list out all the functions in the project, and you can just hover over this. Based on that, the code coverage will get updated and you should be able to see the code coverage based on the function level. So if you just hover over this, you should be able to see that data. Okay, and this is how we can make use of ArchiTracer tool to see what is the code coverage at the function level. And the one that you see on the right hand side is the tables. So the table that you see on the top to the top of the screen, this table remains the same. This table gives us the project overall summary. So we have around like 75,000 lines of code here, apart from selected instrumentation. So we have 24% lines covered, 2% missing, 2% almost like 2.5% is partial code coverage lines, and there is a line coverage is around lines that has been missed when we tested is around like 73%, and which sums up to like 55,000. And there is also a statement coverage information and multi-condition code coverage information here. For example, let's say like I'll just go and admin. Okay, let's say like this is one of the file, and let's say like I want to go and check the code coverage for this file. So just if I double click on this, right click on this, you should be able to see the function summary here with the details like how the code has been covered here. Okay, and if at all, if I want to see the code coverage here, all I need to do is just go over here and double click, and it's going to take us to the source file here, and you should be able to see the code coverage. For example, if you say this, we're having a very good code coverage, just go here and you can see that for this get URL, we can see the summary of that function, code coverage summary, statement, as well as this multi conditions. And same goes for other functions, and most of the code has been not covered here that you see on the screen. And when you scroll to the top of the page, you can see that it gives a summary of the file and line coverage, statement, and multi-condition coverage details. If you just hover over this, you should be able to see that data. And also it gives us a line, statement, and multi-condition code coverage information here at the file level. And also you'll get the absolute file path here. And the one that you see on the left hand side with the columns is a multi-condition, where you can see like what are the multi-conditions it got executed and not executed when we started testing our application.